I called it empathy, but I think I was wrong. And thank you for correcting me on this. You didn't correct me, but I'm corrected by what you just said. I think it's more it's curiosity. I think that's the chief characteristic that I see coming through in your work, and that is why I think you're not judgmental or not as judgmental as most people, because you're so curious. You just want to find out what's going on with people, and to find out what's going on with people, judging them just gets in the way.
Oh, it would ruin it completely.
Yeah.
It's like there's one quote from Terence McKenna that is very popular that I'm going to miss. I won't even attempt to actually quote it verbatim, but the idea is that the government knows that psychedelics expand consciousness and that they are tools for enhancing creativity and spirituality. And because they know that, that is why they are prohibited. And that's a very appealing idea, that we are under the thumb of a knowing government that has made a conscious decision to prevent us from using these substances that could make our lives better because they want us to be unthinking.
Mm.
But as it turns out, that is completely wrong, completely wrong. And how do you figure out that that's wrong? Talk to a bunch of cops, talk to people in the DEA, talk to people, actually ask them why they're doing what they're doing, learn about their background, see where they're coming from. And then you can develop a reality-based understanding of how prohibition operates. And that will be infinitely more constructive than in totally baseless conspiracy theory that sounds good. Everyone likes to think that, but it's ultimately very disempowering because you're totally mischaracterizing the problem. And when you mischaracterize the problem, you have no hope of solving it.
Oh, okay. You're, I think, stretching my own conception of prohibition and the war on drugs. So if you do talk to cops and prosecutors and politicians who have written the laws and activists who have demanded them, what do you find? What is the cause of the war
You
on
find
drugs? What is it about?
ignorance. It's ignorance. It's like the average cop who is enforcing these laws
Mhm.
does not know about drugs at all. At all. They call them all narcotics. They're whatever it is, it's narcotics. And they're protecting people from narcotics, which are bad. Narcotics are bad. They kill people. Also, if you're a cop, you have to acknowledge that they're seeing the worst side of it,
Right.
right? They're not getting called to the scene if people are taking a medium low dose of LSD with their friends and having a nice time and
Right.
writing in their journal about how they're going to process the new job they just got or whatever.
Right.
You're going to see people who are having uh, psychotic responses as a result of overconsumption. You're going to see fatal or non-fatal overdoses. You're going to see the worst of the worst. And on top of that, you haven't been educated in any way to have a more holistic understanding of the subject. So what do you expect? They just don't know. They haven't used LSD. They don't know that LSD or DMT are mind enhancing substances. They're narcotics that cause delusions and insanity. And so if they're out there to try to help people, then they've got to make sure that these things are off the street, right? So
Yeah.
that's like it's a point that I bring up because I think that it is actually very destructive to pretend that there's a giant government conspiracy to prevent people from being enlightened. It's simply not the case. This is a product of total ignorance on the part of most politicians, law enforcement, and really like the entire criminal justice system. Like there's just a lack of understanding.